So this is going to be called part two of two, and I'm not video recording this and placing it online for my tenants to view. This is actually communication to my colleagues in the Central Intelligence Agency, and with my and I'm just evidencing how we communicated, over email correspondences, special international multi-public portals, Interpol portals, and so forth, and special all lawful devices here in the United States of America, and getting Interpol, established and operable here in the United States of America, and not just ceremonial in being in superintendence of the activities of the federal government of the United States of America. But anyway, you can see, and this is my mail.
DCPI's number one priority is getting you ready for your career, and you get your degree fast.
Bachelor's in 2.5
Okay.
years. Associate.
Well, I just showed my remote. I just accidentally had the camera scheme over my remote, and when I just said the word scheme, but I'm not speaking about any sort of a lawful scheme. I'm not speaking about any scheme per se. I just meant I schemed. My camera went over the remote, just coincidentally, accidentally. But anyway, my mail. I've never worked with any Chicagoan or any individual from Illinois, any resident or citizen from Illinois, regarding Central Intelligence Agency or any sort of employment per se, or any sort of employment, not just per se, but any sort of employment. And I've never worked any unlawful employment, and that's the honest to God truth. And certainly I've never lived within any residence, any of my residences, with any Chicagoan or person who's resided in Chicago or has been or is from Illinois, or meaning the rest of Illinois. Okay, so I want you guys to know that. I don't know if I needed to make that point, but when I saw my mail come over, and I forgot to make note that some of the NSA agents, as we anticipated, purported in government records and so forth, that AT&T operates from Illinois. It changed overnight the data and so forth. NSA was caught. The Central Intelligence Agency literally caught them. It was a sting operation. No, I've never lived in Chicago. I've never lived in any other part of Illinois. So that's what I want you guys to understand. That's one of the things I want you guys to understand. And yeah, I do know how to stutter. I was acting at the University of the District of Columbia School of Law back in 2007 and early 2008. I've never been back to that university, the law school, or any part. I did not go undergrad at UDC Law. I went to Howard University. I went graduate and undergraduate school. I went to undergraduate and graduate history departments at Howard University, and I was on campus the whole time. I never did any online correspondence course or any online course at Howard University. I did online courses after I got my 2 degrees, after I got my bachelor's and my master's, after I got my bachelor's and master's degree, and I was serious about my, taking additional courses and stuff to cover up for my audit and moving up the what was perceived the ladder within the federal government of the United States, specifically the Central Intelligence Agency. Okay, so at Howard University, I did not. At times I did speak with a Southern drawl. I do know how to speak with a Southern drawl, but I certainly sounded American most of the time. Sometimes you did hear a Caribbean sounding like word here and there. That was part of my profile that I trained to maintain here and there, just so that agents would be able to easily identify me whenever we did get in communication and so forth. Because I was aware that there were lookalikes who were attempting to figure out why is there a black CIA agent in general, and why there is a foreign-born CIA agent who happens to be black. So they were they thought that they actually could get my contract. I'm not too sure if they actually did anything lawful or not, Once again, I'm not too sure if any one of these individuals did anything unlawful or not. I'm not accusing them of having done anything unlawful that I know of. I'm telling you guys the truth. But anyway, okay. So this is how I speak. You know, I have an American accent, a generic American accent. I sound professional. I've sounded this way consistently over the past 10, 12, 13 years. You know, and in high school, I sounded very, very studious. In high school, I sounded very studious. My freshman year at Howard University, I sounded very studious. Thereafter, I started using slang here and there to maintain my cover in Auditor and Howard University and the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, civil society, this and that. And so, yeah, I've always been an auditor with Interpol and the Central Intelligence Agency, and I've always been identified as a Central Intelligence Agency within certain portals. The Central Intelligence Agencies. Okay, hold on. And I've always been identified as an agent or auditor at the Central Intelligence Agency within its government portals and databases and stuff. You know, since high school, the end of high school for the most part. Okay, and there's only one Central Intelligence Agency. So if you guys might have heard me say Central Intelligence Agencies or something like that in one of my video recordings. I hope it did not sound that way. Someone said, did he say agencies or not? No. There's only one Central Intelligence Agency. It's that of the United States. It's secretly contracted with the United Nations, as sealed within Interpol records and United Nations records. But yeah, you know. So I'm being honest with you guys. There's nothing crazy going on whatsoever. Okay. So. All right, so yes, Doug Emhoff, he did lose his leg to lawful amputation. He was caught requesting the assassination of Barack Obama, and he was caught requesting the assassination of me, and he was caught requesting the assassination of Central Intelligence Agency operatives and agents all over the country of foreign birth or foreign background or parents of foreign background and so forth. And he was the individual who was not forced, he was the individual who I guess benefited, sadly benefited from separating Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. They actually were in a lawful marriage, and Barack does have a purported marriage with Michelle Obama, and they do have those two girls authentically as part of a CIA operative assignment. But they've been together for a while, ever since the late 80s, but it became more so for operative base. But the situation of me and Rashida is totally different. We were literally romantic from the very get-go, and our situation is going to go right back to that after we do reunite. That's just reality. But now she's going to be part of the Central Intelligence Agency, and so forth. I've explained how things work. I've explained what what I've had to go through, what she has had to go through, what my family has had to go through, and what the Central Intelligence has had to go through. Central Intelligence Agency has had to go through, over the past 15 years to get us to get us safe. There was social policies which prevented multinational cultural policies, which prevented multinational couples from existing or being preserved, and which kept biracial couples from existing or being preserved in reality, other than a few celebrities here and there purporting otherwise. That was a cultural policy of the FBI. We did shut it down. It's literally parts of the FBI's function has been dissolved. So right now Interpol is going to serve as the superintendent of the federal government of the United States, and primarily the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, is going to. So Interpol is going to supervise the FBI. The FBI will no longer be able to just issue indictments and charges or file charges per se. It's going to have to receive endorsement and authorization from Interpol. We're going to have offices all over the country, real offices disclosed, known to the public, identified online regarding the addresses. And I'm not lying at all. Once again, I'm being honest about that. Okay, guys? So that's the honest to God truth. I've never had anything to do with amputating anyone's leg or any of that, but I do realize the silent culture of the FBI to be able to negotiate things of that nature when a person clearly does not want to be, service 10, 20, 30 lifetime sentence when they're when it's recommended by the public that he shouldn't or she shouldn't. So that's what I have to point out. I need you guys to know that there's no sort of a criminal background of mine, no sort of criminal activity. I'm not here appealing to any public, any part of the public, in hopes that I get some sort of leniency in treatment by any sort of entity or culture or sort of a concept. I want you guys to know that. What I'm pointing out that there's a secret culture or cultural practice in the FBI to amputate the legs or a leg of military soldiers who pointed or shot loaded weapons at innocent children and civilians in Iraq, Afghanistan, and so forth. It's been that way for hundreds of years. The Constitution does cover it up. When folks get in trouble, who are misguided by government, or when there is some sort of public outcry that they were misguided by not just government but by society itself, and if it's convincing enough, and if they're able to negotiate that instead of spending life in prison or being subject to even worse, sometimes they do negotiate the amputation of their legs and so forth, or their leg, his or her leg, and I have nothing to do with that, to be honest with you. And I'm not a subject of that, and I'm not some sort of endorser of that. I want you guys to know that I'm not a subject now, in the past, or in the future. I need everyone to accept that, okay? So Doug McGann, I want you to understand this. You're not going to file any charges against me. You're not going to file any search warrant against me. You're not going to say that I'm oppressing you or harassing you. You are fired. White supremacy is coming to an end. I know you were White House counsel for Donald Trump, and even before then for Barack Obama. I understand that you did hire a lookalike, or damn near an identical lookalike. We're pretty sure of it. I met with this individual. I can see the difference. We can all see the difference. And you took his woman away. You took Kamala away. And put him through a lot of hell. The original Barack Obama, the real Barack Obama. You put him through a lot of hell. And this is declassified information, top secret. You put him through a lot of hell. You're going to have to pay up for it. You're going to have to do exactly as I say, or you're just going to have to retire and let all the CIA agents and everyone else do as I say. I promise you, there's no other way. Okay, you were fired. White supremacy, white nationalism, white power, white stewardship all over. This is a transition period toward perfected black ascendance and forgiveness and redemption. The African world and the African diaspora is a process of forgiving the whole planet and claiming redemption. So we have programs all throughout the planet to be able to assist Africa and the African diaspora, meaning including us African Americans, into ascendancy, political, economic, and social ascendancy without oppressing or abusing any sort of other ethnic group or any other racial group or any other cultural group or any other social demographic group. So that's part of the process. That's part of the restitution demanded by the United Nations Security Council, the United Nations General Assembly, secretly sealed. It might be oppressive in communication to the general public, so that's the reason why it's sealed. And it might be a bit, it might set the wrong precedence, or the wrong precedent either way is actually correct. Both are technically correct, but traditionally everyone says precedent. But some might argue that it sets the wrong precedent. But after 500 years of misery and oppression and colonization, segregation, slavery, obviously, mass incarceration, neglect, government neglect, the gangsterization of hip hop, the decay of the Black Panthers, the death people went through, the injuries, the harm folks went through during the civil rights movement of South African segregation, apartheid. I don't want to use that word too much because I guess some of the folks are not unfamiliar with it in the National Security Agency. But anyway, so and what what the Aborigines have gone through, and what the Melanesian Islands and South Pacific Islanders have gone through, and being stunted from growing with Afro-Caribbeans and Afro-Latinos have gone through and been stunted from not growing physically, but growing economically, infrastructurally, politically speaking, and so on. So it's been 500 years of misery. I'm not going to blame white. We don't blame white people. I work with only white folks for the most part, consistently. I'm not racist at all. I've explained who I am. I've explained the top secret identity that I do have, and it's not some sort of speculation. It's really real fact. This is an emergency. We do have to declare these things to you guys. I do, and the rest of my team by covert means they're going to have to do so also. Jesus Christ. That's the honest to God truth. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to present myself to you guys in a very considerate way. But this is the truth, you know. So we're not gonna target white folks. We're not gonna target Asian or Chinese folks or any of that. Okay, but the whole world has to say yes to black ascendance and stewardship, so that the whole planet will be forgiven and help Africa redeem itself. And I promise you, Africa, in being the wealthiest continent in the future, is going to support the whole world being a global community, completely exponential in growth when it comes to infrastructure, social and political reasoning, economic clarity, and bridging the gap between old school liberalism and new school progressivism. You know, so it's a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work to get this done. Okay, so it's going to take a lot of. We're going to have a lot of town hall meetings all over the place, and we're not going to have secret council meetings specifically for isolationist purposes. We're going to have to shut that down, or if we do allow it, it's going to be perfectly for sting operations, as to identify folks who are going to attempt to regress the laws and policies of the United States of America without breaching their rights, but just making sure that whenever they do breach protocol and law and policy, compliant policy, we do identify them, not aggressively, but we give them an opportunity to reform or re-educate themselves via communications. But we are not going to allow any sort of conflict against integration. We're going to integrate the Americas, we're going to integrate the world, and so forth. You know, so we're not going to get in the way of open borders being official in 25 years. We're not going to get in the way. They are not going to get in the way. I'm certainly not an isolationist, but they are not going to get in the way of the EAA, the Free Trade and Economic Area of the Americas, which is going to be established next year, 2025, and at worst, 2026, when it comes to perfected effect, coming into effect. That's some sort of British Caribbean term or phrase, but I was requested, placing that in there so that everyone knows that the version of British English and Caribbean English and American English are completely compatible, comprehensible. There's no sort of obstacle in interpretation or comprehension. Okay? All right.
Have you done some research yourself?
It's March the 24th, 2024.
Professional genealogist at the affiliated Irish Family History Center. My
As you can see, this is CBS this morning, Sunday morning. Actually, CBS Sunday morning.
Great-great-uncle was like the town streaker.
You can see the
like
star. You can see it. This particular broadcast was aired on March 24th, 2024, Sunday.
Of dog licenses?
And
Your ancestors had so
I'm
many
going to show you that my secondary phone
The Irish for the name
does
Creacon,
provide the
which
same.
means descendant of
phone.
Creacon, which is like a short person, which I thought was extremely funny. So I'm related to leprechaun. You're related to leprechaun, yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be attached to the end of the part 3 of the video recorded, the same video recorded based on the same particular topic or spectrum of subject area. I published the initial, the first part yesterday on March 23rd, 2024. The second part, which was also recorded on March 23rd, 2024, meaning yesterday, was published early this morning, actually in the wee hours. Actually, it was dark outside, so the third part to this particular video recorded publication on YouTube. This particular third segment of the third part is recorded today, March 24th, 2024, and once again, my primary and active phone number is 407-600-1760, and I do have a secondary number, and the area code is 321, and I did provide information earlier within this particular video recording publication, and this has nothing to do with any this certainly is not part of my intellectual work publications, meaning my legal article or my work papers or my work reports per se. None of the video publications of the video recordings published on YouTube have anything to do with the work paper and work reports and the legal article, other than then touching on topics within, naturally, actually, predominantly doing so, but none of it is attached to any particular work paper or work report or legal article or anything else having to do with literary work or textual, intellectual work per se. So even though I do declassify information within these video recording publications, then this has nothing to do in attachment. And yes, we did completely amputate the penis, the penis literally of LeBron James Sr. He's wearing some sort of attachment at this point, and he's not going to get any sort of implant. That's over with. We've gotten to this point. He's going to post old videos of his twin brother. He has some sort of decoy that damn near looks like a twin, who's very arrogant himself and believing that he's LeBron James' brother in a past life or from another world. I'm telling you, they've lost their mind at this particular point in trying to get out of trouble and being as ruthless as they've been. But he's going to post videos. He's going to videos on secret celebrity portals and elsewhere demonstrating that he still has a penis, but that's not LeBron. The real LeBron, we just severed his penis completely. Okay, he's just walking around with an attachment and so forth. All right, so he's in homicidal mode. This time around, he's been in homicidal mode over the next 20 years. We have to test him just to see if he deserves to submit to the execution orders the FBI and certain court systems in the state of California, New York, and Florida have imposed. Okay, he's going to submit to his arm being completely amputated. All right, and if he's stupid enough, he's going to submit to being paralyzed from the waist down completely. Okay, guys, I'm being serious.